It goes.
Hello! Welcome back to Screams and Beans. And we changed venues. We're at Mary's house now. Phaedra, Mary.
Hello.
Screams and Beans. It's still the Paranormal Activity series. We're going to be talking about Paranormal Activity 4. And we're at our news desk.
Yeah. Very professional. Our little notes, you know.
So funny.
A little PSA. I do have a dog.
Yes.
If any kind of noise, person, car, anything, she will bark. So she sounds vicious, but she's not.
She's such a sweet dog.
She'll pee on you before she bites you.
Her name is Chewy.
Choo Choo. We call her Choo Choo.
Choo Choo.
She's Chewy.
She's very sweet.
Yeah. She's eating a bone now. She's happy.
We might try to make her get a glimpse. Okay, so this movie premiered October 2012. And this is number 4 in a series. And you start getting up in numbers, people start either losing interest or just maybe not like thinking, oh, I need to see this in the theater. So it did not perform as well at the box office as the second or third. It was the third highest midnight release, however. So it's still kind of in that midnight release category as being good. But it's not fair because it was up against Sinister, which stayed popular in theaters much longer because it was a very... I mean, that was almost like a new original story in the horror genre without being gory or bloody. Very psychological. I won't say it wasn't gory because it had
there's some gore.
We're going to do an episode on Sinister because it messed with me.
Yeah, it's the psychological of it.
So
it's creepy.
Anyway, so it was kind of fighting Paranormal Activity 4, fighting Sinister. So, its numbers weren't so great, but we still enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I still, it gave us some new special effects.
Yeah.
That were really fun in the movie. So it held my interest. I stayed in.
I don't know if I watched it in the theater though.
I didn't.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
by that time, I was watching all these through some kind of streaming, whether it was HBO or Paramount or Netflix. I purchased the first 4 Paranormals as part of my Apple movies, like Apple subscription. So they're in my library of movies. So I have the first 4. I should buy the next. I should buy 5 and 6, but I just never did. I could find them.
You could find those. Yeah.
So because this movie premiered in 2012, it takes place in 2006, and we already had sort of talked about our life in 2006. So we're gonna keep with 2012 this time as our what was going on in the world theme. Number 1 hit song, One More Night by Maroon 5. Love that song. I
remember that song.
One more night. And it's, baby, just one more night.
No.
Go, ooh, ooh.
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. It just has some catchy.
I'm going to make a list
hooks.
of all these.
I have them all printed out. Yeah. The popular movie of the year was The Avengers, The Dark Knight Rises, The Hunger Games, and Skyfall. So some pretty significant movies were released. The Avengers being the most popular,
one.
Yeah.
Is it the first Avengers?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's a genre that goes on and on. And on.
Let's see. Oscar winner for Best Picture, The Artist. Never saw it. You'd think I would because I love art and artists, but I never saw it.
No,
that same year, other nominees were The Help.
Oh, that was a fantastic movie.
I love that movie. Moneyball, The Descendants, and Midnight in Paris. Of those movies, I saw The Help. I saw Moneyball. I think Midnight in Paris was Owen Wilson, but I don't remember. I'm not sure if I saw the movie.
Is The Descendants the...
Oh, that's
the cave
George
one?
Clooney.
Oh,
and they're
that's the wrong one. Oh, that was The Descent.
Oh, no, we're climbing down the cave.
The cave one?
No,
Descendants.
Yeah.
That's the George Clooney one.
I
didn't watch it.
Yeah, Best Actress that year was Meryl Streep for her role in The Iron Lady. So a much older Meryl Streep, but
didn't see that one either.
Still hanging strong in Hollywood, Meryl. She was up against Glenn Close, Viola Davis, who's in The Help, and Rooney Mara, which I'm not sure I know who that is, and Michelle Williams. So
Michelle Williams was for The Dark Knight.
Yeah, okay, that must have been it.
Yeah.
Best actor for that year was Jean Dujardin. I'm probably really mispronouncing your name. For his role in The Artist, which is...
Oh, no, I haven't watched it.
He was up against Gary Oldman and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was in Moneyball, so...
And Gary Oldman, I think, was in The Dark Knight.
I think so. Again, this is a banner year for book readers. Oof. You had Gone Girl.
Oh, that was a good one.
By Gillian Flynn, and that was made into a movie. Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, the movie was fantastic.
Insurgent by Veronica Roth, which was made into a movie, and this writer came out with 3 books they called the Divergent series.
Divergence, yeah.
And I haven't seen them because they're very sci-fi, and I'm not true sci-fi fan.
I actually just watched it the other day.
I think they might be interesting. Was it interesting?
I like them.
Okay.
Yeah. And for
did it have a level of suspense
cute.
Or... Well, I mean, eye candy is good.
Yeah, he's definitely eye candy. Yeah, it is a sci-fi movie, but it is a psychological movie too, because it's how the world puts everybody into sections, like you're like groups of people, and that's what she's divergent, so she doesn't really fit into the group.
Interesting.
And so
okay.
you get, it's almost like Harry Potter, where you get sorted into these things, and then you have to live within that group. Okay. And then there's fractions that don't like the groups anymore, or the divergence. And so it actually is they're really good.
Wow.
The first 2 are pretty good because it's all the same characters, so at least that's a plus. Sorry, my seat's moving on me. That's always a plus, but it's actually, they're pretty good movies. Okay. You might like it, but is sci-fi.
I'll give it a try.
Like I said, number 4 is,
another movie we know, Wild by Cheryl Strayed, where she hiked the Pacific Coast Trail.
Okay.
And Reese Witherspoon
did
her
that
character, and I thought she did a great job. I did that book as an audiobook.
Oh.
And so I enjoyed it, and then watching the movie was fun.
Was Reese the voice person?
No, not on the audiobook.
That would be good.
And then we had 50 Shades Freed in the 50 Shades series. So one Halloween, our park, Olympic National Park Employees Association, puts on an event every October around Halloween called Stew and Brew. And the idea is like homemade soups and stews, and then like cider and whatever, just sort of a way employees like get together for lunch and hang out. And some people wear costumes, some people don't. And that year, one of the gals from Human Resources Department, Cheryl Gilson, put on like a vest and like all these like paint chips and shades of yellow, and she was 50 Shades of Hay. I love
That's
puns.
cute though.
That was really well done. Good job, Cheryl.
That is pretty funny.
You know what? I read 50 Shades of Grey, the first book, and it kind of irked me. It was not very well written. It was like you're reading a bunch of teenage text messages back and forth. It just irritated me. And then it was supposed to be like, ooh, raunchy, whatever. Well, by the middle of the book, I just started fast forwarding to like, where are the hot parts?
It's not a good.
And then the hot parts weren't even that hot. I'm like, okay, I'm out. So I just kind of. I know it's a very popular.
Abby actually watched the 50 Shades of Grey movies before I even knew about them, and I'm like, what do you mean you've watched these things?
You know what? She should watch American Pie. That'll teach you more than 50 Shades.
That one time at band camp.
Exactly. Okay, so. 2012, again, I didn't know videos were still being made and aired on MTV, but
really?
MTV Video of the Year, Katy Perry, Wide Awake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know Katy Perry, but I don't remember
Wide Awake.
That's all. I don't remember that. Anyway. So the Video and Music Awards, the VMAs, which is like the what VMAs. We're used to watching, right?
The popcorns.
Best Artist of the Year was We Are Young, or by Fun, featuring Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, We Are Young. Yeah.
And then Best Pop Video was What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction. There you go, Lonnie. It's your boy band.
It's your boy band.
And then the Best Rock Video was Paradise by Coldplay. I really like Coldplay.
I don't know that song.
But
I like Coldplay.
I think you would know it if you heard it.
Grammy. That's the story all the time.
Yeah.
If you heard it, you might remember it.
It's like the Grammy winners, Song of the Year, Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
Okay.
And that was also her best album of the year, 21. Like, So my 5-year, I don't even know if she was 5. She might have been 4. Oh, this is 2012.
2012.
So she was 6. No. 5. She was 5 years old. She was sitting in the back seat. Dave and I were driving somewhere. And the song came on. And she's like this little 5-year-old voice singing along or rolling in deep like she's been there and it's you know heavy in her life and she's gotten over love and you know it's just the most hilarious thing I ever heard. This tiny little voice rolling in the deep. Like, oh my god, no idea what it all means, but just, she loved that song. The best rock song of that year was "Walk" by Foo Fighters. I just love the Foo Fighters. I'm so happy for Dave Grohl that he was able to overcome the whole Nirvana thing. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Nirvana was awesome.
I love Nirvana.
The whole Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
That, you know, that I'm sure all the band members had to take their time and deal with it, but he came out strong and just got back into music, and thank God for him. Best country solo performance, because I know you like
I love country.
Was Mean by Taylor Swift. So she appeared as a country artist.
She was country first.
Oh, yep. I didn't know that.
Yep, she started out in country.
And I'm a big blues fan, so I was excited to see the best blues album that year is Revelatory by the Tedeschi Truck Band. Susan Tedeschi, she's awesome. She's got a killer voice, good band. And then best regional roots music album, Rebirth of New Orleans by Rebirth Bass Brand. So I learned of them by watching the HBO series Treme, which is like post-Hurricane Trina, and you follow these characters and their lives about how they deal with life after Hurricane Katrina. And it's actually a really great series. There's like 5 or 6 seasons, and you follow the same characters throughout the whole thing, and you see the progression of like rebuild and, and you get into the food culture and the music culture and the history and this. I mean, it's just, it made watching that, and I've watched it more than once, the whole thing all the way through, it makes me want to go to New Orleans. Like, I'm kind of a little bit
I've always wanted to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about the food aspect because I don't like spicy.
You eat fried chicken? There's lots of fried chicken in the South. Okay, so our life in 2012, I was 17. I was living in... You
can't be 17 in 2012.
No, I wasn't. Hold on. Oh, I copied and pasted and I forgot to change this. Okay, what's
2012? Okay,
1971. I would need it. I'm so dumb. I need a calculator. I can't.
I was 32. I was 32 and you're 9 years
apart. Yeah. So
39, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41.
41? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be 41. Okay.
My math.
So I would have been here in town 6 years. Right? No, 8 years. I would have been living in Port Angeles 8 years in 2012. I can't tell you what I did that year. I'd have to go back to my scrapbook. But living here, meeting people, Doodlebugs was around at that time, which was a scrapbook store in Swim.
Was Scrappy Girl store?
How I met. I don't know.
When was your first retreat?
I don't remember. Oh. Lonnie and I were trying to figure that out, and I don't remember.
When I tried to figure out my timeline, Scrappy Girls only goes to 2016.
Oh, for me then.
So I was like,
so we don't have a life in 2012.
2012. My mother-in-law was really big on family trips, like doing family things. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that she thought would be really fun for, Abby and the kids, because there's 4 grandkids, was to go see King Tut.
Oh.
In Seattle, to see the Mummy and
interesting.
And stuff
like at
that.
The art museum?
It was, I don't remember where it was at, but, Seattle was
give you a little
crazy.
Culture.
Yeah, well, I've never, it's always seemed interesting. I always liked watching the Mummy, like I love the Mummy movie.
Right.
The fact of digging in sand is not up my alley at all. I don't like to be dirty. And, yeah. But we went and saw that, and she was a little bored on some of the, you know, because you had to wear the things to listen to people.
Oh, yeah.
So she was a little bored about that aspect. So she just kind of wanted to walk through. But once we got to the mummy and got to see it, it actually was really interesting. I mean, it was my first time. And then at the very end, you know, they sucker you into buying these.
Of course, it's like a Disney ride. You get dumped out into the gift shops.
So one of the things that they did is that you got this paper. It was a parchment paper, like it would be like back in the old. That even felt really weird. And it had the hieroglyphs on it, and then she did her name in hieroglyphs.
Oh, neat!
And so that was that was one of her show and tells that she loved to show and tell.
I like
was
that. Yeah.
So we had a good time with that, and all the kids, you know, running around Seattle, and I think we went to one of the science museums too, and they did the science, you know, part of it, or the fun, you know, whatever the kids' science thing was. So that was my memory of 2012.
Awesome.
Was that, and it was nice weather, you know, because you never know with Seattle how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Everybody wore coats, and so by the end they were all tied around.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're a week away from 4th of July, and right now it's like overcast in this low 60s
pouring.
and raining, so who knows?
Yeah, Washington weather, yay!
Okay, so ready for movie plot? All right, so Paranormal Activity Part 4. This is where we take a shift. So we're kind of with a new batch of characters that we only see one of the original first 3 movie characters because everybody died except Katie, who whereabouts unknown, Hunter, whereabouts unknown, but everybody else died. So, except for Allie the daughter. So, Allie the daughter makes an appearance in this movie. Katie makes an appearance in this movie, but nobody else. Yeah. So, the plot from Wikipedia, I'm trusting Wikipedia. I read it and I was like, yeah, that sounds right based on what we watched. October 9th, 2006, Christy Ray and her husband Daniel were killed by her demon-possessed sister Katie, who then abducts Christy's 1-year-old son Hunter. The only survivor was Allie, Daniel's daughter, who was on a school trip. Police are still unable to find Katie and Hunter. In 2011, Alex Nelson is living in a wealthy suburb of Henderson, Nevada with her father Doug, mother Holly, 6-year-old brother Wyatt. So this is a completely new cast of characters, new place. There's this family has absolutely
nothing to
no
do.
knowledge of any past paranormal activity events. Alex, so she's the teenage daughter, and she's adorable. I can't remember her name, but I love her. She's
the character, or the actress. Yeah, she's really so good.
Alex records footage with a laptop webcam before Alex and her boyfriend Ben set up cameras all over the house after many strange occurrences, which escalate into several cars parked outside a neighbor's house, objects such as chandeliers, kitchen knives, a family car, and garage doors becoming sentient. The neighbor has a son, Robbie, who stays at the Nelsons' home while his mother is hospitalized. Wyatt is the son of the Nelsons, and tells Alex about Robbie's imaginary friend Toby, and Alex finds Robbie in a closet saying he doesn't like you watching us. Wyatt also tells Alex and Ben about meeting him, revealing a green symbol on his back identical to an ancient Hittite symbol, one that would prepare a victim for a demonic possession. They learn that the possession ritual requires a virgin blood sacrifice. It is then revealed that Robbie's mother is actually Katie. She tells Wyatt that he and Robbie were adopted and that his other family needs him back. He argues with an unseen, unheard presence about his true name, declaring, "I'm not Hunter."
Right.
It tripped me up because this whole movie, I thought Robbie was Hunter, and I was like, wait, Wyatt was the dot, like. It took me
because Robbie was weird. He came with Katie.
He just seemed like if you're gonna possess a kid,
he was total Damien.
He looked like an old man child. Like he walked and wore clothes like an old man.
And he was sneaky.
Yeah. So the next day, while Doug and Alex are out, Holly is violently thrown against the ceiling, and Ben, visiting the home to inform Alex about the symbol's relation to a coven, has a neck snapped by Katie. Alex and Doug arrive at home night after dinner, and Doug goes next door, believing he saw Holly and Wyatt. Alex finds Ben's body in the house and is suddenly knocked down by an unforeseen force and dragged. She flees to Katie's home and finds Doug being dragged out of sight. She searches for him, and when she hears Wyatt's voice before a demonic Katie runs towards her in the hallway. Alex escapes from Katie by jumping through a window into the yard where she finds Wyatt and a crowd of women walking towards her. She attempts to flee, but Katie appears behind her. The camera falls to the ground and the footage is cut off. So we don't know if Alex was killed or not. It kind of, since everybody else was, you kind of think, well, she might have been, because all they really want is Wyatt, who is /Hunter. So it starts out with October 9, 2006. Hunter is abducted by his Aunt Katie. October 3rd, 2011, Henderson, Nevada, 5 years after Hunter and Katie's whereabouts were unknown. And then we start with night 1 on November 6th, 2011, 3:02 a.m. A kid named Robbie staying at the house. Teenager Alex with her camera heads downstairs, hearing a noise, to find Robbie standing in front of the TV with a light glaring. And we could see tracking dots from the Xbox. Robbie says he couldn't sleep. Alex sees a shape move across her screen. So,
the machine.
What Ben shows the family is the Xbox, because it tracks you so that you could have that kind of
some kind of game program.
So you can play boxing, you can play volleyball, you can bowl, whatever. It tracks your movements. So apparently in the dark on infrared mode, you could see all these projection dots. And so that's what fills the living room at night, are these tiny green projection dots. Right. So when we see something go through the projection dots, you see the shape move. And so you could see this, but only through the camera appear. Yeah, it was interesting. Is really cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting. A lot of the paranormal people nowadays actually use this. If you watch some of the paranormal shows, they actually use this, and it makes stick figures kind of things. They put these things out there, and then the stick figures will show different things. Wow. Yeah,
technology.
Yeah, it's really cool. Creepy but cool.
Night 3 is November 8th, 2011, which is Mary's birthday.
That's my birthday! Yay.
So at 3:23 a.m., we see a cat walk across the dining room, and the only reason I put that in is I love kitties.
We love two cats.
Robbie gets down from his upper bunk. He wakes up Wyatt. Robbie and Wyatt are on the first floor, just walking around.
Yeah, here again, kids just, wandering the house.
3:31, Robbie yells, "Away!" And the two of them run around laughing, and Mom comes downstairs, puts them back to bed. So it's so funny. The parents wake up and what the fuck are you two doing running around the house? Night 6 is, I love this, 11/11/11.
Oh.
November 11, 2011. 2:12 a.m. Alex wakes up, looks out the window. She sees a bunch of cars across the street at Robbie's house and goes to check it out. A woman suddenly appears in front of her in her camera. "Hi, can I help you?" And Alex freaks out and is like, "Wrong house," and runs back home. Later in the afternoon, we see Wyatt on his big wheel riding in the house. I love this because, so Robbie's on, it's not like a true big wheel. It's like a little scooter bike thing, but it kind of is. He's sitting down on it, but recumbent style biking. And he's biking around between hard floors and carpets, just like who?
Red Rum.
Danny,
Red Rum.
Little Danny in The Shining. It's like the same. It's like the same sound of the wheels. He's riding around. So he's riding around, and he gets he's coming from the living room into the dining room, and all of a sudden the dining room chair moves,
blocks his entrance.
And he kind of pauses, and he's backing up.
The slow backup.
And then he goes forward and he turns the other way, and then when he turns this way off camera, we hear another scoot, and then we see him he gets off the bike and he's running and he's laughing, and it's just it's a weird,
something was playing with them.
Okay, so
but it is Red Rum.
Yes. So we just heard Mary's daughter Abby come home.
Hi, Abby.
And in the last episode we filmed when we were at my house in the dining room, I don't know if it's on camera or if it got caught on camera, if you could hear it, but Dave comes in from the garage and walks the kitchen into the hallway, and so we don't know if there's you can hear footsteps but no voice or anything. So we're oh, maybe we created a little paranormal moment.
You hear keys rattling.
Yeah.
and the dog did not bark, so which is really surprising.
Yeah.
Because when Sissy comes home, she usually gets very excited.
Oh. So Chewy's like right down below us by my feet.
Yep.
She's
a good dog.
Okay, so night 7, November 12th, 3:03 a.m. Wyatt is in the living room and says, "I can hear you. They're all sleeping. I'm sure, maybe." So he's
talking to Toby again.
To Toby. He doesn't know it's Toby, I don't think. Later in the day, the mom starts prepping dinner and lays a knife on the counter. Mm-hmm. And when she turns back around, it's missing.
But it was like she stabbed it in the thing.
No, that's when it fell.
That's when it fell.
So so it was laying on the counter. It totally disappears.
It goes
up. But we don't. She doesn't know that. Yeah. We don't know that right away.
Yeah.
And then so she's like, "What the hell?" And she just grabs a different knife and continues on. And I love the fact that she's making dinner with a cooking video.
Yeah, she's watching the video on how to.
I mean, I do that too. I'll find a recipe online. I'll watch the video for it, and then I don't follow the video, but I'll print the recipe out and follow the recipe. Right. So I love that about today's.
It was cool, yeah.
Okay, let's see. So night 8, November 13th, 2:40 a.m. Wyatt's awake in his bedroom, sees his own bed move on its own. He's like, he gets up out of bed and he's kind of standing. They have this little mini closet area, playroom thing, and he was about to go towards that and sees his whole bed kind of move a little bit. And then he jumps back on the bed and goes under the covers. Yeah. I'm like, my instinct would not to get back in my bed.
The one that just moved, I'd be like, okay,
skirt. I would be going into my mom's room and jumping on their bed. That's what I was
sleeping with sister.
He's crazy. Let's see. Oh, and also what's happening is Alex is in the living room and smart girl, she turns the light on.
Yeah.
Duh.
Every time somebody went downstairs, a light came on.
She was because she must have heard a noise. So she gets up, she's in the living room, she's looking around, turns on the light, nothing else happens. She goes back upstairs, but as soon as she takes a couple steps up the stairs, a book falls off the bookshelf, which is on the same wall as the Xbox, like projecting out this way. So there's like books probably on each side. Like you have your TV, you have some books, DVDs,
fireplace.
Whatever. Well, I don't know what book this is, but it's pretty thick and it falls off the bookshelf. And she puts it back and it falls again. She puts it back. This time instead of putting it this way, she puts it sideways.
Was it the Bible?
And then she hears heavy footsteps or thud sounds coming from above her.
Above her, yeah.
And then she goes back upstairs. I don't know if it's the Bible. I tried to zoom in to figure it out, and it's really thick.
I guess I'm just assuming it's the Bible.
Yeah, it almost looked like a dictionary to me because it was just so thick. But
encyclopedias that nobody uses anymore.
You can come say hi, Abby. You could bomb us.
Come say hi to the
graduate.
We talked about how you graduated and your birth, about how you caused an appendectomy.
Yeah, we've covered your whole life in this paranormal world. The world knows about you. What you up to right now?
Nothing. Silent weather coming in.
Okay.
Texas are coming. We're going to be invaded by Texas.
Let's see. So later that same afternoon, Alex sees Alex is looking out her bedroom window and sees Robbie and Wyatt heading to Robbie's house.
The house, yeah.
And she's like, "You little shits!" And
they snuck out.
Gets her phone and heads to the house, and she's in the house searching for them. And we see a peek of a chandelier in the hallway, which I thought was funny. It's like, oh, there's a chandelier.
There's another chandelier.
And she hears screaming, or she's in one of the bedrooms, and she's looking around, and in the main room of the house, she sees the closet has a padlock in it.
Kind of weird. That's right.
I mean, why, what's there that you would have the padlock? But, so Katie appears in the hallway, and all of a sudden kind of jump scare. Oh my God, there's Katie.
There's Katie.
And she thanks Alex for watching over Robbie. She says to Wyatt, "You look just like your mom." Like,
Oh, because this is when we were supposed to try to figure out that
right?
it's Hunter.
And Alex is like, whatever. Like, what
Right.
a weird thing to say. And she and Wyatt go back home. Night 9, November 14th at 1:22 a.m. Dad's on the living room couch. He hears a noise. He gets up. He goes in the kitchen. Nothing at first. Then he turns around, goes back in the kitchen, checks the camera angle and the laptop that he has set up in the kitchen. 1:23 a.m., 1 minute later, he's leaning towards the laptop and then hears a noise but starts to walk away, turns suddenly back when he hears a thud, and then he sees the missing knife from earlier standing straight up, like,
Up
into the counter.
like it hit.
Like it went shunk.
Yeah.
And which, you know, wasn't that far from him. So in some ways it's like,
It's
well,
whatever, the
could've
nose
waited.
saved his life or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think if he would have stood there more, he
might
would have got
his
it.
head.
Mm-hmm.
So his wife comes into the room and she's like, honey, come to bed. And he's trying to explain to her what just happened and she's not listening. She's like, come to bed. So it's sort of blown off, but it's kind of a creepy
It'd be
thing.
weird all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's because I think it makes that jing, you know.
Yeah, it's like, don't.
That...
So later in the afternoon, Alex asks why he went with Robbie to Robbie's house. He says, I wanted to meet her. Katie told Wyatt that he and Robbie are friends because they're both adopted. Alex is surprised that Robbie is adopted and wonder why Katie would know Wyatt is adopted too. And Wyatt says she just knew. Katie told Wyatt that his other family needs him back. So this is our first hint that Wyatt is really Hunter. Night 10, November 15th, 3:08 a.m. Cat is on the couch walking around. I love the cat just wandering because you can see the little dots and the little kitty body.
Oh, because it goes through the thing. Yeah.
Wyatt's bedroom's door opens on its own. A minute later, Wyatt sits up in bed, goes downstairs in the living room, is talking again to something we can't see. A couple minutes later, Wyatt whispers, yeah, sure, I don't know. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. My name is Wyatt. It's not Hunter. My name is not Hunter. And this is where Dad comes down, turns on the light, finds Wyatt. It's like, what the hell are you doing? And takes him back upstairs. Later that afternoon, Alex finds Wyatt in the playhouse in the backyard. She asks Wyatt what he and Robbie were talking about. Wyatt says Robbie got him ready, that it's his time.
Ugh, creepy.
Oh, creepy.
Got him in the closet.
Night 11, November 16th at 12:03 a.m. Dad said he's never seen his daughter so knocked out. This is messed up, you guys. Mom says she gave her one of her sleeping pills. She said she had to, that she'd been up for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Dad said, not prescription. Mom says, yeah. Dad said, honey, what the hell?
Right.
So at 12:04 a.m., a minute later, Wyatt is awake, gets up and goes into a small playroom while Mom and Dad are arguing downstairs. Dad said, this makes me nuts. You're going to give her a drug like that and not ask me. 12:09, the covers get yanked off Alex, who is passed out hard.
She can't feel it.
Her body is elevated up off her bed. It's like somebody picks her up like this because her body is
It's bowed, yeah.
And she completely rises into the air. Later that morning, Mom comes in to get Alex and tells her she has to go to school. Alex says she felt like she got hit by a truck. She goes into Wyatt's room and sees crayon now all written out, Hunter. Alex asks, what's a hunter? Because she's probably thinking,
right.
You know, you go out and shoot deer type hunter. Wyatt says, that's my name.
Right.
Alex disagrees. So now Wyatt was in denial or not agreeing with Toby.
Whatever now
he's
is.
like, okay, I'm on
Yeah.
to it. Alex tells her mom what she doesn't want to be alone, left alone in the house. Night 12, November 17th, 12:48 a.m. Alex is online on her laptop with Ben, FaceTiming. Walks in the kitchen. On the living room couch, we see Katie get up. So it's the dots, right? Because it's dark, it's night.
One time she didn't turn the light on.
Yeah, she just kind of goes down the stairs and walks around into the kitchen. Doesn't even notice that Katie's just sitting there.
She's sitting on the couch
And the only reason we see her, the projected dots, when Katie gets up,
she stands up.
I thought it was Toby at first, but then you quickly realize, oh my God, that's Katie.
Yeah.
How scary.
How'd she even get in the house?
Right? Alex hears the garage door open. She goes into the garage to inspect. The door from the garage into the house closes and she can't open it. And at the same time, the main garage door closes. So you have she goes, everybody has that door that
It
you go
goes
from
in.
the house into the garage, and then you've got your big garage
Right.
door that goes up for your vehicles. So both doors are blocked from her being able to open either one.
She's stuck inside.
Then the car turns on.
By itself.
The engine is revving super high. There's a ton of exhaust starting to fill the air. Alex is trapped in the garage. While this is happening, Katie goes upstairs. Wyatt walks into the hallway and then runs into his bathroom because he's afraid. Alex is trying to get out of the garage. 1:10 a.m., Katie walks into Wyatt's room calling for Hunter, saying it's his Aunt Katie, and begs him to open the door, saying he's almost ready and that she'll be there until he's ready, basically to open the door.
Right.
At 1:16 a.m., Alex is coughing in the garage. She has to break the window into the car, which won't turn off. So she crawls into the car, and the keys aren't even in the car, but the engine's running, and the only thing she can do is back the car out of the garage, breaking the garage door. So she's busted through the big garage door. She's busted a window in the car. You can imagine the parents of this teenager
freaking out,
pissed off.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and I feel bad for her because, how do you explain the unexplainable and be believed? And you're a teenager and you're a girl and hormones and whatever. I mean, her parents are probably just thinking
the car. Trying to explain that the car started on its own. That right there, parents like, what?
Yeah,
how?
Like, Dad, it's impossible. The keys weren't there. It's just that poor girl.
And parents don't believe kids.
No, they don't.
They immediately dismiss them.
And it's the life experience, but it's,
No, that never happens.
So later we see Katie in the living room, and she walks upstairs with Mom on the phone in the kitchen. So the mom is unaware Katie's in their house. Katie's in Wyatt/Hunter's bedroom. Mom hears a noise, sees the book that we previously saw fall off the shelf with Alex, open to a page on the side table. But I don't think it says it. It doesn't show us any detail. It doesn't even go into what is this book? Is this significant? Why is this book reappearing in the scene with the open to a page? It's just completely washed over, and it makes me crazy because I want to know.
We want answers.
So when Mom backs away from the shelf, another book falls, a much smaller one. It's red. And it falls off the shelf, and she's startled, and then she feels breathing on her, and she's thrown up into the air, and they have a really high ceiling in their living room.
Mm-hmm.
She crash lands, and we assume she's dead.
Right.
And then Katie comes downstairs, and a serial killer, we see her dragging the body away.
Right.
So she's hiding the evidence. Ben's in the garage and hears the front door open, calling Alex. Ben's in the house and hears, that, I don't know, we don't have it, but lots of people have that ring or something that's front door open.
Oh, yeah.
The security, it's the security thing. He calls for Alex thinking maybe she came through the front door. He's like, hey, I found some crazy shit about the triangle symbol in the coven. And then he's in the kitchen with the Pepsi. And I have a note about that later. So Ben hears a loud thud, thinks it might be Alex.
He's upstairs.
Not hearing any response. He's calling for Alex. He calls for Mrs. Nelson. He goes into Alex's room. She's got one of those little bead curtains on her little closet, and it's kind of swaying a little bit, so it's like somebody was there. So he
walked through it.
Yeah. So he goes to inspect that, and then nothing's there. And so he goes to Alex's laptop because I think he's going to try to see what
video. I think he was going to look up the videos.
And when he pulls up, so he sits down, and he's in front of the laptop, and then all of a sudden we see Katie right behind him, breaks his neck, drags him into the closet, and leaves him there. So her good, teenage daughter's best friend
/ maybe boyfriend.
I think he wants to be a boyfriend. I'm not sure she wants to.
He definitely wanted more.
He's dead in her closet. Horrifying. Okay.
Yeah.
Katie calls Ben. Alex calls Ben. So Alex comes back home, and she's like, God, no one's around. She can't find her mom. She can't find Wyatt. She calls Ben's phone. She hears it ringing from her closet. And she's like, if you're messing with me.
Yeah, a jump scare for her.
She finds Ben in her closet, and as she's trying to make sense of it, she's forcibly pushed backward. She runs out of the house to Katie's house yelling for her dad. She hears her dad scream, tossed up into the air and then dragged. Alex is calling her dad, opens the bedroom door, calls for Wyatt. There's heavy breathing in the room. The bedroom windows are papered over a newspaper. She hears Wyatt scream, help. She sees Katie, runs toward her with a deranged face in the hallway. Alex jumps out the bedroom window to find Wyatt in the backyard. She's like yanking on Wyatt's arm to come with her. And as she turns, we see that gathering of women that we assume is the coven.
Yeah, there's hundreds
and they're
of
all
them.
wearing some kind of necklace with the symbol. And then there's a final scream from Alex before the screen goes dark. So we have, I kind of assume Alex
I'm assuming
died,
Alex dies.
sadly.
Yeah.
So the movie observations that I had were the cool effect of the Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like I want to try that myself. Like, am I going to see that? Or do I have to have some kind of infrared? Because
Do we
they
have an
mentioned you have
Xbox?
to have infrared.
Yeah, it's an infrared thing.
The cool effect of the Xbox Connect feature, all lights are off and then Connect projects tracking dots, but can only see it with infrared. How do you get...
That's what the night vision.
Oh, so maybe... I wonder, do we
That's
have that
it.
feature on our phone? That'd be cool.
Well, I have no clue. I barely know how to work
I want a
mine.
military phone. I want infrared night vision. I love the bike with the little kid riding around like Danny in The
tricycle.
Shining. I love that Ben drank a Pepsi because obviously it's a product placement and
Yeah.
Coke versus Pepsi.
Pepsi.
All the way.
Yeah.
Just always been that way. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy Coke, but I don't know what
I'll
it is.
always pick Pepsi before Coke.
Super, super cold.
Yeah.
Iced Pepsi on a hot day after
Mhm.
doing a bunch of yard work. I don't care
Tacos.
about the sugar.
I love Pepsi
Yeah,
with my
it's so
taco
good.
and pizza. You can't have pizza without a
Right.
Pepsi.
See, I'm more of a root beer and pizza girl.
I
but that's
don't
okay.
like root beer floats.
So this is what I found funny is little Robbie comes to their house while Katie's supposedly in the hospital and they give him some clothes to wear. But what they give him is hilarious. It's like these sweatpants that are high risers,
Yeah.
little socks with like, I don't know, like mandals. And he looks like a 90-year-old man
Yeah.
walking around as a 7-year-old or however old. It's just hilarious. He looks like a little hobo.
I just find it weird that they don't even know the kid. And they're like, here, could you take my kid?
Yeah.
I understand being neighborly.
It's all part of the bigger plot because Katie wants
Right.
a way in.
But I understand being neighborly, but I think if my neighbor came over and be like, hey, could you watch my kid while I go to the hospital? I'd be like, yeah.
What I don't understand
I
is
don't know.
how, I mean, when we see the inside of where Katie and Robbie are living, there's sheets over furniture.
Oh, the furniture. Nobody lives there.
Rooms are empty.
Yeah.
Box springs are bare. Beds aren't made.
Yeah.
Like and windows are covered. Like, where are they sleep? How? I mean, is
Right.
this really their house or is this all a ruse to try to get a hold of
Wyatt.
So it's just
It has
odd.
to be, yeah.
It's
It's
odd.
just, I always thought it was odd. I'm like,
And
as a mom, I couldn't do that. Just be like, hand them over my kid. I mean, not that they're real
Right.
parents, but
so as a mom, would you drug your child and not tell? Like,
no, I'd have to talk it over with my husband. There's no way I would give her
I mean,
anything like
this
that.
is prescription sleeping
Because you don't
pills
know
she
what
gives.
the side effects for a child is for a grown adult. You know, because
I mean, she's 17, I think, but
Yeah,
still,
but still, no.
I just found that appalling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
No.
bloody hell?
If she's old, if she's 17, then she's kind of old enough to make that decision on her own. But I still would have I would still be reserved about it. Cut it in half maybe to see, make sure it doesn't,
or tell her like you have.
Or,
been
yeah, don't
sleeping
tell-
for
yeah, I
2
would
days.
never
Like,
just
have a
give it to her and be like,
conversation.
oh, here's a gummy.
Right? I mean, Jesus. I'd rather give her a pot gummy than a
Right.
sleeping pill.
Right, because the sleeping pills, a lot of people get addicted to them
Right.
too. So, and then if it knocked her out, if there was some kind of emergency with her breathing or anything like that,
Right.
nobody comes and checks on
No,
her.
she's just completely passed out.
Yeah.
They leave her. It's just weird. I was
Yeah,
like,
it is.
bad parenting.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have done it.
Scariest moments for me were the knife dropping from the ceiling because that was a pretty good
that was
jump
bad.
scare.
Mine was when Katie stood up.
And Katie,
I mean,
that's why I said
'cause
Katie's
you-
still sitting on the
You
couch
don't
in the dark and
notice
she
her.
stands up.
You don't notice somebody sitting there
No.
until she moves.
Yeah.
Because you're all watching.
You just
you're
think
looking.
you don't see, or if you think you see something, you think, oh, it's a
The
pillow
shadow,
on a couch
yeah.
or something.
When
Yeah.
she stood up, you're like, oh, there's Katie.
Yeah.
Then you're like, how long has she been fucking sitting there?
Right? Oh. It could be like the original where she's just like,
Yeah, like
it could be 4 hours.
She could
We
just
don't
be,
know.
yeah. You're just like,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, that was a scary movie.
The super fast shot of the coven of the women at the end.
Oh, there was so
I
many.
went
of them.
back like frame by frame to get because it was if you're watching it and you hit pause, like you can't get that
the full picture of it.
You have to go really slow frame by frame and you finally see them. And that's when I noticed they're all wearing the necklace with the triangle attached. I guess I assume there's the circle inside the triangle, but I can't see it. I just know it's a triangle shape.
They're all wearing, yeah, you can see them all wearing.
And the camera's in night vision, so it makes all their eyes look black.
Black.
Like demons in Supernatural. Yeah. And then I counted more than 50.
50?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, that's freaking...
That's a coven. Well, I don't know how much a coven has to be.
I don't know, but more
cult
than 2.
coven, yeah.
We're a cult. We're a paranormal... No.
Yeah.
Paranormal activity cult.
We're a coven cult.
Movie cult. All right, so that takes care... So here we are. We're done with episode 4. Any life thoughts during that time?
2012? I don't know. You're the one that forgot.
I know. I can't believe that's what. You know what? This was probably like 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, I was up till 12:30 going through my scrapbooks too, trying to be like, okay, what the hell did I do in these? And apparently, I need to do better about my dates.
Oh, me too. I found entire sections that I scrapbooked a whole trip, and there's no date.
Yeah.
There's like empty spaces for journaling and titles and sticky notes.
Yeah.
But no freaking date.
No,
And I'm like,
mine was the same
oh
thing.
my
I'm like, page
God.
after page, it says Christmas. What year is this Christmas?
yeah.
Stupid.
What we learn. I mean, that's like rule 1 in scrapbooking.
I know.
What, where, when, why, whatever.
Journaling.
And
You're supposed to put the
terrible
date.
about journaling.
Yeah, the date is supposed to be important.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on a rainy day in Port Angeles, Washington, and I guess it's a good day to talk about scary movies. And so
Yeah, see? This is the time to curl up on the couch.
Yep. So, I hope you've had fun watching our episodes, and I hope you got some popcorn or some good snacks. And we will continue with episode number 5, Paranormal Activity 5, the marked ones next. See you later.